I'm not signing anything, okay? I've been through the system. I know how this works. You're not my friend. All you want is a confession, and you're not getting one. In 2011, alarms suddenly went off inside a local 7-Eleven. An armed robbery had just been reported. Police rushed to the scene, but the suspect was gone. Searching nearby, officers heard commotion coming from a nearby house. They entered and found a known heroin addict sitting inside with a gun. That man was Jeff Pearson. Police arrested him for the robbery and brought him in for questioning. What followed became legendary online. A suspect going through heroin withdrawal, completely outmaneuvering detectives during nearly a full day in custody. The footage was later uploaded to Jeff's own YouTube channel in Georgia. Armed robbery could mean decades in prison, but despite spending almost 24 hours in custody, Jeff never served time for this case. Instead, he spent hours in an interrogation room drinking soda, asking for candy bars, and refusing to give detectives the one thing they needed: a confession. The footage begins with Jeff handcuffed in a small interview room. Am I under arrest? For now, yeah. But before we talk, I need to read your rights. What am I under arrest for? Robbery. The detective reads the Miranda warning. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court. When he finishes, he asks Jeff if he understands his rights. Jeff stays silent. The detective leans back in his chair. You've got something that says you didn't do this robbery. Now's your chance. Jeff smirks. No, usually I'm the prick. You look like the prick. The detective pushes harder. Do you understand your rights? Yes or no? Am I under arrest? Yes, then take me back to the cell. I don't talk to you. Within minutes, Jeff had already shut the interrogation down. 2 hours later, detectives brought him back. You want a Coke? Yeah. Almost immediately, Jeff mentions withdrawal symptoms. I need methadone. You got a prescription? I'm a junkie. I'm going to go through withdrawal in here. The detective changes tone. How long you been using heroin? A long time? 10 years? 15? I ain't even been alive that long. Then the detective circles back to the robbery. Either you got caught in bad circumstances, or you committed armed robbery. Wrong place, wrong time. I didn't rob nobody, then. Talk to us. I don't talk to police. Jeff already knows the game. I've been through the system. I know how it works. I know you have. You're not my friend. I'm not your friend. All you're trying to do is get a confession, and you're not getting one. Jeff points out the obvious. You ain't got evidence. All you did was find me sitting in my buddy's house. Police had found him nearby with a gun, but they still needed something stronger, and Jeff knew it. The detective tries getting him to sign paperwork. Not signing nothing. Don't have to sign it. Jeff refuses anyway. The detective asks him again to explain what happened. I'm not talking to you, but before I read your rights, you were talking. Yeah? Then you handcuffed me. Now I want a lawyer. I should have ended the questioning. Instead, detectives kept pushing. You're still being held for robbery. I know. That's why I need a lawyer. Jeff even notices how desperate they sound. You guys usually don't interview me this much unless you got nothing. Then he shrugs. Thanks. For the Coke, put me back in the cell. Detectives keep trying. I've got enough evidence for armed robbery. Like what? If you didn't do it, convince me you got evidence? Name it. The detective avoids answering and switches tactics. You help me, I help you. What's that mean? I can tell your parole officer you cooperated. Doesn't react. A good word means nothing. If he's facing years in prison, the detective keeps fishing for details. What time did you get to your friend's house? You know, anything I say can be used against me. Helping yourself matters too. Still, Jeff stays calm. The more detectives talk, the clearer it becomes they're struggling to build a case. If they had solid evidence, they wouldn't need him talking this badly. Hours pass. Detectives bring up the gun. Prison withdrawal symptoms. Pressure from every angle. Jeff barely moves. Finally, Frustrated, he says, "I'm done. Every stupid thing I say is going to end up in discovery." The detective replies, "You halfway know the system." Jeff answers immediately, "I know the only reason I came up here was to get a Coke." Then he casually adds, "Now I want a Butterfinger? A Butterfinger?" Yeah. Even exhausted and clearly sick, Jeff never loses control of the room. Eventually he says, "I need to go to the hospital. I'm coughing up blood." By then, police had spent nearly an entire day interrogating a man. They still couldn't directly connect to the robbery. Jeff had asked for a lawyer multiple times. He refused to speculate, refused to panic, and refused to fill in gaps for investigators. 12 hours later, he was released. No confession. No conviction. No prison sentence. According to reports, Jeff later turned his life around. He got off heroin and started uploading videos and music online, including the interrogation footage itself. Years later, the footage is still viewed as one of the clearest examples of a suspect resisting interrogation. Pressure without losing control.